Hello you fantastic people and welcome back to Borderlands 3. In this video we're going to go over the loot that you can expect after 100 farms of Tyreen on Mayhem 10, level 60 true Vault Hunt mode. And we confirm the dedicated drops as well, which have changed, seeing as the patch of last week moved all the loot pools around. If you guys didn't already hear, most bosses have a maximum of 2 weapons in their legendary loot pool now, which makes it so much easier to farm. They also removed like 21 of the trashy annoyance, so it's really easy to get the weapons you want with the good rolls you want, and hopefully the elemental one that you want as well, which is really good. Now I know usually you turn Mayhem off to find dedicated drops, that way you don't get world drops and you can just find the dedicateds, which I did. Don't worry, I made sure I probably found about 100 times without Mayhem as well, just to double check for you guys, and we did confirm those. Then I turn it up to Mayhem 10, that way we know how many world drops we can expect, because I think Tyreen is definitely top 3 best farms in the game. But yeah, without wasting any time, let's jump straight into it. Of course, if you guys do not know, if you're new to the game, Tyreen the Destroyer is the final boss in the game, and you can find her in Pandora in Destroyer's Rift. You can teleport straight there, which is really easy, efficient farm. There is also vending machines there, which I would highly recommend checking out, because there is now permanently legendary items in there, which is awesome. You can get Zed's meds, drops the shields and class mods, which they sometimes drop up to 6 legendaries at one time, which is really good. And then the Marcus ammo dump also not only has ammo, so you never run out, also has legendary grenades, and you can find really good stuff in there quite easily. So I would recommend checking that every time whilst you're farming. It is well worth it. Now generally Tyreen is kind of an annoying farm. She has immunity stages, you can fly away and be very time consuming, but if you guys need any help with builds or anything like that, just skip those immunity phases. Make sure she doesn't fly away and save yourself a bunch of time. Apologies. I have a ton of builds for Flak in particular. I also have a very strong Mo's build. I'm working on the other 2 currently, but I haven't got those ones out yet. If you want to check out those, there'll be a link down below, or just check them out on the channel. There is a whole bunch of different variety builds, particularly for Flak, that make sure she never flies away, which saves you so much time. It takes a really irritating farm and makes it probably my favorite farm in the game, if I'm going to be honest. But yeah, let's just jump into the numbers for you guys. After 100 farms on True Vault Hunter mode, Mayhem 10, level 60, with our boy Flak here, Tyreen dropped 552 legendary weapons, which is absolutely crazy. That is just world drops, by the way, not dedicated drops included in there whatsoever. So on average, that is 5.5 average legendary weapons. That is well above the average for most main bosses in the campaign. I've already tested a whole bunch of these since the recent update / patch, and that is very much ahead of the rest. As for the dedicated drops, originally before this patch, before they spread out the loot pool, we had the auto idle artifact, which is very helpful. I use it regularly, as well as the Hyperion SMG that starts with B and ends in demonetization, and the Jacob's pistol, which is probably my favorite weapon in the game, the King/Queen's Call. There's for some reason still a rumor going around that Troy drops one of them and Tyreen drops the other. Completely false. Tyreen drops both, Troy never drops any of them. So King and Queen's Call both drop at Tyreen. Now, as a result of the patch, we have actually lost one of those dedicated drops to a different boss, which is awesome to hear, because it means it is way easier to get the remaining 2. The SMG, the Hyperion SMG, which I'm obviously not going to say for valid reasons, and the King Queen's Call still drops at Tyreen, which is really good, because I love the King Queen's Call. I'm going to farm it anyway, and now that Tyreen is probably one of the best, if not the best, world drop boss farm, it's just a win-win all around. Now, as for the dedicated drop rates, the SMG, again, starting with B, made by Hyperion. This one drops in any elemental type, and it recently actually got a serious buff, I heard. I personally do not use SMGs too much, being a Flak main, but please let me know in the comment section down below if you guys are enjoying it. I've heard some good things, that it actually does some decent damage now, which is good, because I very much like the weapon in Borderlands 2. It is a returning weapon. So yeah, let me know down below if you guys are enjoying it. After the 100 farms, I got 29 dedicated drops for this SMG, which is really high, particularly seeing as there is a whole another dedicated as well. That is a just shy of 30% drop rate, which is quite good. So now with the guaranteed anointment chance, the reduced amount of anointment, so there's more of the good ones left, and the higher dedicated drop rate with less dedicated drops in the loot pool, it should be way easier to get that SMG if you guys are going for a particular elemental type, because it does come in quite a few variants, as well as the anointment that you want as well. Moving on to the King Queen's Call, which, by the way, if you guys did hear about the apparent nerf, etc., with a whole bunch of Jacob's weapons, please do go check out the video I posted last night. This weapon is still rocking. Don't stress about that one. It is still my favorite pistol / weapon in the game. For the dedicated drop rates for it, though, after 100 farms, we got 15 of them, which is considerably lower. Practically pretty much half of the dedicated drop rate that the SMG has, which is very unfortunate. It doesn't surprise me at all, to be honest, because the drop rate for it has always been super low. It's regarded as a pretty rare weapon because it's one of the better weapons in the game. It does come in every elemental type except non-elemental, of course. I believe cryo and irradiation and corrosive are all the Queen's Calls, and the King's Call are the shock and fire ones. So the dedicated drop rate for the Queens is 9 dedicateds and 6 for the Kings, which makes sense because there's 5 elemental types. It's actually seems to be even across the board, which is really good because in the past, at least, I've always had 0 luck getting, for example, shock ones, and I used to get a ton of cryo ones. So it seems like they've evened that out now. Again, so much better if you are going for a particular weapon, particular elemental type, and anointment. It's way more even, way more often as well. So as total, 29 and 15 is quick mass, 44% dedicated drop rate, which is ridiculously high. Generally, weapons dedicated drop rates before this patch was about 15 at best percent, and that was usually shared between 3 to 4 weapons with trashy anoints, etc. So now that is so much easier to get the weapons you want. I'm super pumped about this update because I've been farming Tyreen like crazy, trying to get some better King, Queen's Calls. I've got a few, but I don't have all my god rolls yet, so I'm definitely going to keep farming. That is everything I have for the dedicated drop rates for Tyreen. 100 farms, Mayhem 10, a level 60 true Vault Hunter mode with our boy Flak. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, don't forget to smash subscribe down below. If you guys want me to prioritize any of the other bosses to make a video on first, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm more than happy to do that. I'm likely going to get around to making them all eventually, as well as the new dedicated drops. If you guys want to check us out over on Twitch, I live stream pretty much every night just after I post my YouTube videos. That is linked down below, or you can just search CodeMQ on Twitch. We usually hang out, farm some things, make some builds, find dedicated drops, and just hang out, have a good time with chat. And yeah, other than that, hope you guys have a fantastic day. I shall see you guys next video and the live stream. Till then, adios.